all you beautiful souls out there, and welcome to my PvP tips and tricks school boot camp guide for beginners and advanced players of all ages and dispositions. You know what? Let's just call it the ultimate PvP guide for Elden Ring by Ghostman Pro. An episodic saga of foundational PvP strategies and techniques designed to help you get good and get even gooder? ? In episode 1, we will be talking about the bread and butter of your average PvPer, spacing, which is single-handedly the safest, most rewarding, and satisfying way of engaging any opponent. Two players with good spacing can turn any fight into a deadly dance to determine who can outspace the other. Spacing is the foundation of learning to outplay and defeat any kind of opponent in Elden Ring and the Souls series as a whole, and can be defined fairly simply. I will attempt to give a visual example alongside my explanation. The best way to define spacing is to wait for your opponent to attack, but when they start up their attack, you need to try and place yourself just outside of their weapon's effective swing range, so they miss. If you are sure they will be out of the swing range, then don't roll. Instead, get ready to attack them the second their swing is past the apex of the attack, at which point your opponent will be in the recovery animation for a few milliseconds, almost always guaranteeing you a hit before they roll, depending on the latency and the speed of your retaliation. No matter how many thousands of hours you put into the Souls series, you can always improve on your spacing. Whoever outspaces the other in a fight more usually wins that fight. Now you need to keep in mind that every single person you ever fight will have a different latency with you, and you need to get a feel for every opponent's latency, because depending on the person, what can happen sometimes is referred to as phantom range, which just makes the weapon hit you from what seems farther away than its physical length. The phantom range can be really strong for your opponent, or it could not exist at all. Ideally, no latency problems allows you to set up a punish using spacing much easier. Understanding how to work with latency favorably can be a big help. Basically, just always remember where you were half a second ago, depending on the latency, or a second ago, and where you should be now to hit your opponent if he is trying to hit you where you were that amount of time ago. Confusing, right? My concluding thoughts for episode 1 of our tutorial series would be to learn the ranges of every single weapon in the game and their attacks, and learn the average phantom range or latency range of every single weapon in the game and their attacks, and start punishing players for missed attacks. I decided to make this series mostly to cater to the massive amount of newcomers to the Souls series and to help them learn how to PvP, because I have noticed there is just a large margin of people who have no idea what they are doing in the PvP. To be clear, this is not a jab at those new players, this is just an important fact that has brought me to make this tutorial series. I am by no means talking down to the new players. We all started somewhere, and I am by no means the best at Souls PvP. I'm pretty decent, but I have a very, very long way to go, but I am confident enough in my 10 years or so of Souls PvP experience to give a series like this a shot, and try to give back to the community that I have loved and enjoyed and cherished for most of my life. Thank you.